Hello, everyone. So good to see you guys on here tonight on this fine Wednesday of November. I can't believe we are 6 weeks away from Christmas. How crazy that is. I just can't believe it. I was talking to a friend today. I'm like, I can't believe it's almost Christmas. People are putting Christmas decorations up. I'm not sure what's happening, why people are putting Christmas decorations up so soon, but my kids are very happy. There's Santa Clauses everywhere, and they're a little confused. They're like, "When is Santa Claus coming?" And I'm like, "It's like 6 to 7 weeks." So, again, happy to see you guys. Listen, the company is still working on getting the reports um, updated and effective, and I'm doing a little bit of training right now myself on the reports. I was going to do some training on reports tonight just to kind of manage the business. So we're gonna, duck and move and do something a little different tonight. What we haven't done in a while is we haven't done testimonials. And what I'd like to hear from a lot of you is some of your testimonials and how this patch has changed your life personally. And if you want to share someone else's, but the most effective thing would be for you to share. And then the second thing I would like to do is I would like Justin to be able to talk to you and actually
Jay?
anyway. Oh yeah, so sorry you guys for I'll repeat for the ones that speak Spanish. I was gonna go over reports, but they're still updating reports. They're still working on the reports. I'm still training on the reports myself. And so what I want to do is once that's complete, I want to do it because the reports, I've been very involved in the reports. Basically, reports should help us run our business. We should be able to run reports and be able to help people in the organization. But still, like even if you look in, what someone's next rank is, it's still not correct yet. So they're still updating those reports. So as soon as that is available, I'm going to do a training around that. And so what I thought we would do tonight, which we have not done in a long time, hey Alexandra, is I would love for you guys to share your testimonials with the patch. And we used to do this about every other week because I feel like a lot of times people kind of forget what this device has done or what it has done for other people in the past. And also what I like to do is have Justin, whenever someone speaks, I'd like to put some more testimonials on our website. That website that we built for you guys, wellnessrev.org, is for you. It is absolutely built for you guys to use as a resource. And the more testimonials we have on there that are compliant, and I will tell you, our website is very compliant. We've taken it all the way through compliance. We've got emails from the company, very happy that it's completely 100% compliant for you guys to use, for you guys to share. And I would also say share that website with a prospect so that they can kind of see what this community is and what exists and what resources are out there. So what I would love to do is have you guys share your testimonials and then we'll do that for like maybe 15, 20, 25 minutes and then we're going to go to Q&A. So anything that you guys have, questions you might have around comp, you might have around recruiting, you might have, and then at the end, I want to talk about an idea that I have that I want to share with you guys. I'm going to do a little deeper dive training on, and it's called 2626. And basically, what it is how you can get 52 brand partners in your business in a year and what that would represent in income to you in a year. I think a lot of people get discouraged, and really what I want to break down for you guys is all we have to do is bring in one person a week. And if we do that, you could create an eight to $10,000 income a week in a year. And it's the only business that I know that you can create that kind of income by doing that kind of activity. So, and then we're going to talk about how that goes to the organization. So let's start off with testimonials. And then let me see what this person said. Ivy, I wasn't sure if I could share the website with prospects. It's good to know things. Absolutely. I mean, it's just for prospects, people that are in the business, for them to understand that there's resources available for them to come in and launch with their people. So, who would be the first person that is going to share their testimonial tonight? Because I would love to hear as many as we possibly can. Now, when Justin talks to you, like even when you're talking to someone, what we want to practice is we want to do our testimonial within, I would say 60 to 120 seconds. So 1 to 2 minutes, that long. So it's just a quick hit, like, hey, this is what it did for me. This is how it's helping me. So I'd love to hear those from you guys. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm also going to help you tweak your testimonial. Because sometimes people just drone on and on and on about the testimonial. So I'm gonna help you guys with that as well. So this is why I'm doing this testimonial thing, not just to hear it, but also for training purposes. So who wants to be the first person? Don't be shy. Michelle, I knew you'd be the first person. You're a rock star. Go ahead, Michelle.
Oops, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. So, a few things. One, in 2019, I was working at a high school as a yoga fitness teacher, and we were playing volleyball. I never played. The one time I played, my colleague also played and knocked me down, and I landed on the asphalt, and he landed on top of me. And so I had multiple injuries. One of them was a concussion because my head was just like bang,
Oh,
bang.
wow.
So, and then of course, 2020 happened, and I didn't get a chance to really get all of the physical therapy that I needed. And so my brain just kind of did a reroute, you know. So I had post-concussion symptoms for a couple of years, and I just got used to it really. And when I started wearing the patches, that's the first thing that cleared up. And I was surprised because, you know, thankfully, I didn't consider myself somebody who had like, oh, I hope it heals this and that. And I just thought, let me just see, and that all of a sudden mental clarity was just like, like I almost felt like I was on something. Really, it's kind of weird. I was like, whoa, I can really clearly think. And it was just amazing because I didn't realize that I was even having issues, like it was just normal to me to have, that I was slower at processing things. Um, and so that definitely cleared it right up. And the second thing that is pretty big is lifelong issue with gut health. And I grew up with this having rashes all of the time and going to various doctors telling me, you're allergic to dust, you're allergic to wool. As I got older, I self-diagnosed myself and found out it was actually food related. And so I was able to control it, but it was never gone. And then when I started wearing X39 and particularly Eon, it pretty much cleared it up. And that's huge because that was literally a lifelong gut issue. And, now I don't live on cheese, but I mean, I definitely am not like, oh no, I forgot to say no cheese, So it definitely is a big difference in my body. So those are two big areas. I think everything else is like the usual, deeper sleep, etc. But for me, those two areas are pretty big things that were pretty much resolved. I mean, I
So,
feel like my
Michelle,
systems are better.
I love, I love your testimonial. This is what I will say. Okay. Um, when I share a testimonial, what I used to share and what I share now is a little different. Okay. So yours is so powerful that I would share, hey, this is what happened to me, and unexpectedly, this is what it did, right? And very, very quick, as well as the food thing, right? Because the food thing, the food allergy or gut health, that's a really common thing. So what I always try to keep my testimonial in is what people deal with, right? And
Okay.
so I feel like there's five categories that people deal with, right? Most people have one of the five that I'm going to mention, okay? So one, you said mental clarity. Yours came from trauma. But
Yes.
so to add to your story, right? So I had this thing, I had this brain fog, but after wearing the patch, I had more mental clarity than I've ever had in my entire life, right? So not only did it fix this, it gave me more mental. So just kind of exacerbate that a little bit, right? So
Right.
the main things that people deal with, first one is energy.
Energy.
Okay. People are drinking energy drinks. They're drinking, they're taking Adderall. They're taking energy pills. They're drinking
Red Bull.
pre-workouts, all,
Yeah.
all these things that have all these chemicals in it that are really bad for us, right? I
Mhm.
mean, you look on the back of those ingredients and there's not one ingredient that you recognize, not one single ingredient, right?
Right.
So energy, sleep is another big one. People struggle with sleep. As people get a little bit older, even after 40 years old, you don't sleep like you did when you were 30 or like when you were 20, right?
Right.
So sleep is a big one that I talk about how it's improved my sleep big time. And I have actual numbers, right? My sleep increased 32% after wearing the patch because I've been tracking it for 5 years. I've worn a
Oh,
Whoop
okay.
for 5 years. So I know exactly every night, deep REM, light. I know how long I'm awake. So I know exactly what my sleep is. From wearing the patch to now, my deep and REM, which deep sleep heals your body, REM heals the mind, it's increased 32%. Right. So sleep, and then I get a little bit of on a tangent, like sleep is the most important thing you can do in your life. Like it's not, if you're going to sacrifice anything in your life, sleep is not the area you ever want to sacrifice. Right. So energy, sleep. The other common, very, very common one is pain. Now, you cannot say pain on social media, okay? but you can say discomfort.
Mhm.
Okay. One on one, you could say whatever you want to say to them about stem cells. You can say about pain. You can say about inflammation. Like when you're having a one on one conversation, you just can't be on social media and say these things, right? For compliance reasons, because we're in the wellness space and we can't say, it helps with anything because the FDA doesn't like that. You guys understand why the FDA doesn't like that because they want people taking prescription medication. And so if you say you don't need prescription medication anymore, you can have this in your life, that blows up the world, right? So again, energy, sleep, pain. The other big one are what do you guys think? What's the other ones? Can you guess? Common things that people deal with.
I mean, did you include like digestion? Would that be one of them?
No, I
As far as
haven't
that?
because I've never heard that one before, actually, Michelle.
Oh, really? Oh, I talked to a lot of
hmm
people like
Yeah, there's a lot of people that deal with that. A
okay.
lot. A lot of people have gluten allergies. A lot of people have,
Yeah.
which is all digestive and gut. And so the other one is mental clarity,
Mm.
right? So mental clarity is a huge one that people don't have, especially when you age. And then the other one is inflammation. Right? People deal with inflammation all the time. Now, inflammation shows itself in many ways, right? So now what I do, what does inflammation cause? What's the main cause of inflammation? Do you guys know? Aging. Okay. So inflammation causes aging. So that's why when you're over 60 and you don't have stem cells to get rid of inflammation, that's why we start to age aggressively. So the last one that I always talk about with inflammation is age reversal. So there's nobody that's 25 years or older that is not thinking about aging, right? Because when we hit 25, there's something that clicks and you're like, oh, maybe you get your first gray hair, maybe you start to see your skin look a little different, you start to look in the mirror anymore. So I always like to talk about age reversal. So if you can wrap that into a conversation into your own personal story, Michelle. So like for me, listen, I got this, I love the volleyball story. I'm an athlete, my head bounced off the ground because as soon as people hear that, this is what I did when you said that, right? I was listening and I was like, right? I leaned in and you want people to lean in. And so what happened was, it cleared up that, but what happened on even better than that is my mental clarity is better than it's ever been in my entire life, even when I was a young child, right? And then, I dealt with gut issues. I didn't even think about that. I just thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to deal with this for the rest of my life. Boom, it cleared that up. And then sleep as I'm getting older. So all these things that, maybe it's three or four, but like what I always do is say, hey, what would you say your top issues are? Everyone has issues. Is it sleep? Is it pain? Do you feel like you're aging? Like ask them, and then you could say, hey, this is what it's done for me. Oh my God, this is what it's done for me. So your testimonial was very crisp and concise. When you guys share these tonight, I want you to share your true testimonial because I want to be able to give you coaching on how to make sure you make it yours, but you also connect with everyone. So because, people are out there just talking about menopause. Okay, well, that's a very small percentage of the population. Now, if I'm talking to a woman that's 50 years old, then yes, okay, I'm going to talk about that because I know that she's probably going through perimenopause or menopause, right? But if I'm talking to a 35-year-old woman, I'm not talking about that because she's not thinking about that yet, right? So if I'm talking to a 25-year-old, am I going to talk about age reversal? What I'm going to say is our founder, David, said that people should really be thinking about age reversal at 25 because that's really when the human body really starts to age. And so when you say that to somebody, then they're like, right? And so you guys just have to make sure that you tweak your testimonial. Now, what I'm careful of is sharing other people's testimonial, right? So one of the testimonials that I share of someone is a couple when I'm one-on-one, okay? How effective this is, I don't want to treat sickness, right? I want to do prevention. So you guys understand that medical 1.0 was between the 1900s and the 1930s. And when they said practicing medicine, they truly were practicing medicine. They had no idea what the hell they were doing, right? There wasn't enough research. There was just people were dying from the flu. Like it was not a great time in the American history. From 1930 to about 1999, 2000, we were in medical 2.0. That was treatment. So, okay, someone gets sick, we're going to treat you, we're going to try to make you live longer, but we're going to purely treat you. From 2000 to now, slowly, we've been in medical 3.0, and medical 3.0 is prevention, right? And so now we're in the height of prevention, and there are things like the patch that helps people prevent these things from happening. So that's the conversation. That's what I want you guys to think about is this device is a prevention mechanism for people to live a healthier and well life. So I want to hear someone else's testimonial. Norma,
Sorry.
no
Hello to
worries.
everyone. Okay, well, you can't deny this one. This was me when I started using the patches.
Wow.
Yeah, July 2023. And well, this is me now, but look at me. So the hair, look at that
That's
again,
amazing.
isn't it? And so that's my one of my two testimonies, but along with the hair loss, Jay, I was dealing with a chronic anxiety for 20 years. And the way it manifested with me was I didn't like to go out to public places. I didn't drive. And just to give you an example, whenever I drove to work, I knew a specific song played 6 times. So I would, play it once and talk to myself the whole way to work. It's like, okay, it played once, 5 more times to go. Oh no, a train's coming. So I would put pedal through the metal because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get stuck, at a stoplight or um, it was just really bad. And I would talk to myself, okay, I'm coming up a red light. Okay, maybe if I slow down, it'll turn green by the time I get there. Um, One time an airplane had to land, and I know I'm probably going too long, but that's why I'm telling it so you can give me the short version. An airplane had to land because I had a panic attack and they thought I was having a heart attack. My fingers went like this. I couldn't breathe. So they had to tell all the other airplanes not to land. And when they get there with a gurney, they're like, who's having a heart attack? I'm like, oh, I'm okay now. It's okay. Well, that was for over 20 years. I just didn't go to parties. I learned to have an excuse for every social gathering why I shouldn't go. And the funny thing is, when I started using the patches, I started using them for my hair. And my husband is the one who pointed out to me that I was driving more because before, if I wouldn't go anywhere or I planned it. Okay, I live close to a high school. I said, okay, there's no traffic now. I'm going to go to the store and come right back. So my husband one day pointed out to me because I would tell him, okay, I'll be back, honey. Where are you going? To the store. Do you want me to go with you? No, I'm good. Okay, I'll be back. I'm going here. And every time a little further and further. And he's the one who pointed out to me, he's like, do you realize I'm not going with you to places anymore? Because I was so focused on my hair. I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. And that was about 4 months into wearing the patch where I'm like, wow. And when I do my lives, I do them mainly when I'm driving because we have a side business that, we have to deliver. So I'm like, I'm in my car again and I'm driving. So that's my testimony. It's like I can drive again. I say yes to social gatherings, which I didn't used to before. Can't tell you how many times I went to concerts and it's like, okay, where's the nearest exit? I'm going to the restroom and I never came back. And my
And,
my
and you're
husband would go
speaking in
look for
public.
me. I'm like, I'm sorry?
And you're speaking in public in front of 16 people.
Jay, because I had anxiety and I was bald, I would never take pictures. So when my father passed away in 2023, it was really hard for me to find pictures with him because I just wouldn't. And look at me
And
now.
you know probably what the problem was with the balding, right?
I think I also had a thyroid issue. I don't know whether my anxiety with
Anxiety.
cortisol.
Anxiety. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
so I
of
mean
course.
that it probably treated that problem and then, which was exacerbating a lot of other. So the testimonial is long.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but it's unrelatable to a lot of people. Okay.
Anxiety? You think anxiety is unrelatable?
I mean, I don't think most people would admit or even know what they have or anxiety, because they're afraid to talk to somebody. So when I'm saying it's unrelatable, I think it needs to be a part of your story. Okay. But it wouldn't be the beginning of my story. Okay. Because I want to connect with you because I don't have that, right? So if someone would have come to me with the patch and said, "Oh my God, I was losing hair and I have, severe anxiety and able to get in the car," I'd be like, "Okay, that's cool, but what's it going to do for me?" Right? So that's why I'm saying we have to talk about the five pillars. So have you seen anything else in your life or that it's happened besides the hair and the anxiety? Have you
Well,
noticed any?
the menopause symptoms, all of them, hot
Okay.
flashes and everything else
Okay.
that goes out, the mood swings. Yeah.
What about energy or sleep or
Oh
any
yeah,
of
for
that?
sure. For
Okay,
sure.
so when you have menopause, it affects your sleep, right? So again, you know, what you could how you could bring the menopause into it is to say, because of the menopause, I was not getting sleep, which is exacerbating every single thing else. This thing helped me sleep. So what they hear is sleep. Also, the fact that I wasn't sleeping well, my energy levels were super low. I didn't want to do anything ever, so it gave me an immense amount of energy during the day that made me feel so amazing. And get this, not only did it help with the things that, make life wonderful, I was also going bald and I had anxiety and it fixed all of that, right? So what we want to do when we're getting into a conversation with somebody is we want to get in, and what it's called, Norma, is a hook. Okay. So if you hook somebody the correct way inside of a conversation, then they're going to listen more and not feel like being sold. So when Michelle said, she's because what you guys have to understand is stories sell, right? So when Michelle said I played volleyball for the first time, the person fell on top of me and my head bounced off the ground. I'm like, oh my God. Right. So now I'm in for the story. Right. So your story being bold, like if I'm not bold, right? So if I would be like, I'm like, oh man, that's terrible. But what is it? And then I had anxiety. I couldn't get in the car. Like, for me, I'm just sitting here thinking, oh my God, how horrible, right? But that I don't live that, right? So the people that we want to attract, and again, I feel like the mistake that people have because of their testimonial, they want to treat sick people. And that's 2.0 medical, right? What we want to talk more about is 3.0, and that's prevention, because that's so when I go to conference, the average age at the conference is 60 and above. Okay. Because the way we've marketed this product is treatment versus prevention, right? So I think treatment is great. There's a lot of people that need this and it's going to help them. I think that is one lane that we should be in and we should be talking about. But the other lane that we should be talking about is prevention. Now, if you don't sleep good, what's going to happen? Right? If you have discomfort in your body, if you have inflammation in your body, what are the things that are going to happen to you is one, disease, right? I mean, inflammation, what the main cause of cancer is inflammation, right? So if we could get inflammation out of our body, the main cause of heart disease is inflammation. The main cause of diabetes is inflammation. All the killers of disease are because of inflammation. And the reason we have inflammation is because our stem cells are dormant in our body, right? So that's what, what I want you guys to get in these conversations. But again, the story you got to get your story to 2 minutes because that's all the attention span that you have from any single person that you're talking to is 2 minutes, right? You got to get them hooked where they're like, okay, I want more information. And you got to get them so hooked, they're like, how do I get that thing? Right. And so the most effective way when you're talking to people, what works for me every time is I rip it off my back. And I'm like, you haven't heard of this thing? This thing has changed my life. I mean, it really, I mean, I can't believe I thought everybody had this. I thought this was like, food to everyone. I can't believe you didn't know. I'm so glad we're having this conversation. This is going to change your life. Right. And so it's such a dramatic statement. It's going to change your life. But what I always do is I share my testimony. I'm like, so tell me, is there anything that you're dealing with? Pain, fear of aging? Do you see your skin changing? What about mental clarity? And then they're gonna tell you, oh yeah, I'm always dealing with this bad knee. And I'm like, me too. That's one of the things it fixed. I put it right on my knee. And so, I would tell you, so I was at paddle the other day playing with about 10 people. And because I played a new sport, I was having some problems with my foot. So I had Ice Waves, Eon, and X39 on my foot, 4 patches. And so I intentionally took my sock off when I was playing. And the guy was like, "Oh my God, is that from blisters?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's a new sport. I haven't played it before. And I'm just wearing these because I had pain the first 3 times I played, and I don't have any pain when I wear these patches." Like, what are they? I was like, "Oh, they're stem cell patches." And I didn't tell him it was Eon and Ice Wave and X39. I just told him it was stem cell patches. We got into the conversation. All 10 people signed up because people that are playing paddle, guess what they're dealing with? Anybody that plays sports. I don't care if you run. I don't care if you walk. I don't care if you play paddle, pickleball, whatever it is. You're dealing with something. And so when I pulled it off, I didn't have to talk about it. They just saw it and they were like, what the? Because people don't see it. Right. So then I just shared my testimonial with them. And so I would tell you where I made a mistake is my testimonial, and you can ask Raquel, she's been here from the very beginning. My testimonial was I used to wake up in the middle of the night 2 times to go to the bathroom. And I love sleep, but it disrupted my sleep. And then my mind would start going. I couldn't go back to sleep. And because I'm, 52 years old, my prostate is not the same as it was when I was 30. So I have to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. But I used to share that story. But guess what? Alexandra doesn't have a prostate. She doesn't care about that, right? Michelle doesn't care about that. Majority of people don't care about it fixed my prostate. But what did fix is what everyone's dealing with. So that's why I don't share it. Now, Norma, if you're talking to somebody that is your age or close to your age, menopause sucks. It sucks. Like I can't imagine having to go through that, you know? And so when you talk about that and you have a solution for women that's going to help them get through that, then by all means, I'm going all in on that. If I'm talking to a 50-year-old man, I'm telling them that I don't have to wake up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. He's like, "What? What do you mean?" If I could sleep through the night, I'd be so happy, right? I mean, boom, I don't have to say anything else. I just have to say you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night anymore, and they're over it. So you just got to read your audience and ask them questions. But the main thing you have to say in your testimonial is this has changed my life more than anything because it's true. I'm not lying. I can't imagine not having this patch on my body ever again. Like I forgot when I went to play paddle 3 weeks ago, I played so bad. My energy was bad. My foot was hurting. Like it was, I mean, it's not a placebo thing. It's a real device. And that's why I like you guys to hear people sharing their testimonials. So your testimonial is really powerful, Norma. But your testimonial along those lines, I think, is an oh, by the way, at the end, how freaking powerful this thing is. If it can do this and it could deal with my anxiety, I can't imagine all the things it's doing for me because I feel like a whole complete different person. And so that's where we have to have that conviction and that passion where we're talking to people. Okay. So I hope that I know this is a little long, but the whole purpose I'm doing this is because I want to hear your guys' testimonials. Because at the end, the last 10 minutes, I'm going to talk to you guys about the 2626 and how to effectively manage your brain when you get all this rejection. Because there's going to be people that don't get it. Go ahead, Norma.
You can imagine how many people, how many women my age say, I just want my life back. That's how
Yep.
bad menopause is
Yes.
and
Oh, I know.
anxiety. And I've heard it time and time. I just want my life back. And I tell myself when I give my testimony, it's like, I got my life back.
Which every woman understands that, like I mean, I always tell my wife if I'm born again, I do not want to be a woman, because you guys deal with a lot of stuff that I would not want to deal with. Like we have it very, very easy, right? We don't have any of that stuff that you guys have to deal with. And so I understand because, we talk about my wife's 40 and it's like, she's got friends that are 50, 55. I've got friends that have wives that are 50, 55. And I'm just like, man, I am so glad that that is not something that I have to go through. And I feel bad, but we have a device now that can help that. So again, if you're talking to somebody that way, then yes. So it depends on who I'm talking to. If it's a woman, if it's a man, I'm going to take my testimonial because I have many, right? I have many for me, I have many for my wife, but I'm very careful not to share too many. Now, the people that I will share, my oh, by the way, at the end, Norma, is I know a guy that has Parkinson's that was in a wheelchair that couldn't walk, that was shaking aggressively, that now is not shaking anymore and went to Disney World with his grandkids and walked the entire park, which he never thought was ever going to happen in his life again, right? I know someone with MS that literally had a nurse for 5 years that had to give them water and feed them, and she's now self-sustained, and that nurse only comes to check on her once a day, right? So there's some very dramatic stories that are in this. The little boy with autism, that's a completely different little boy. Like there's many autism stories with this patch. So if they have kids and someone has autism, like listen, try this. You know, they're not gonna want to stick anything on their skin. Don't stick it on the back of their shirt. They don't even know it's there. Just pop it on the outside of the shirt when they wake up in the morning or before they get dressed, put it on there and try it. And then they call me and they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is like magic, right? So that's what I want to help you guys with your testimonials is just don't make it too specific. But and if it is specific, it's an oh, by the way, if it can do this, it can help you with anything, right? So, I mean, even I would be, if you're talking to older women, I would be careful with menopause and energy. I would just say, at my age, I've seen my energy slip, and what it's done for me is it's given me my life back. And I have more energy than I had when I was 25 years old, right? I'm sleeping better than I've ever slept. I struggled with sleep for a long time. And I had aches and pains in my body that I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna have to live with this for the rest of my life. And so you're speaking to 90% of the population. 90% of the population deal with energy, deal with sleep, and 100% deal with aging. 100% of us, right? It's just, I know when I turned 40 and I saw 40 on my cake, I was just like, did you have to put a 4 and a 0 on my cake? Like, I was like, I remember this moment. Like, and I was like, I mean, you could have just put happy birthday. It didn't have to be a 4 and a 0. It's like when you hit 40, you start thinking, oh, huh. I'm halfway, almost halfway to, 80 years old, which is what is the common age of dying. I think anybody that wears this patch consistently is going to live well past 100. And I'm putting that out into the universe. And I tell people that. Like I truly believe I can live till I'm 120 years old. And I say it with so much conviction, I believe it, right? I'm going to do it now. Are you have to do other things along with the patch? Absolutely. But that's the community that you're becoming a part of, is you're becoming a part of a community that's going to educate you and you're going to think and act differently when you're doing this. So who else wants to share it? Great job, Norma. And matter of fact, I want to say two people have spoke English. We have a Spanish translator. So you could speak Spanish if you're more comfortable giving your testimonial in Spanish. And we need testimonials in Spanish as well for both. And just so you guys know, our website's in English and Spanish. Full English, full Spanish, all videos, all content, all the videos that are on the LifeWave website for compensation. They're not in Spanish, but we will have them in Spanish. Justin, when? I'm putting Justin on the spot.
They have already been uploaded and are on the website now.
Okay, so all the comp videos are in Spanish on the website. We're the first people in the company, in the entire company, that have that. No one else has that. So all the comp videos are on our website in Spanish, fully. The same ones that are on the LifeWave in English. So you guys can go there now and use those for anybody that has any questions, but they're fully translated and in Spanish, fully dubbed, meaning their lips and their voice and everything matches exactly the person that did the videos. Okay. So who else wants to give their testimonial? One more, and then I'm going to do a little bit of training on the 2626. Go ahead, Raquel.
So my testimonial is around the two main things, pain and energy. So ever since I had my first 14 years ago, I had back pains. So I do say discomfort,
You
like,
can say
but
pain,
not
you can say pain as long as you're not on social media.
as long as
You
I'm
don't you don't have to say discomfort. You don't have to say discomfort if you're in person with anybody. I mean, you could say copper peptide, you could say stem cells. It's just the only rule for compliance is on social media, and that's it.
okay.
Okay, nowhere else, anywhere else in common. If you're having a meeting, you could talk about stem cells, and you could talk about copper peptide. You could talk about pain. You could talk about inflammation. You could talk about everything that the um what why am I I'll think about it in a minute. But what is it that David has? It just totally slipped me. We have a um I'll think about it. Go ahead with your thing.
Okay, so it's back that I had back pains, and then I would say 2 weeks into wearing the patches, I it used to struggle because I used to hold on to the bed or to a chair to get out of bed to stand up. And
Wow.
you hear it all the time. Like that's how we grew up. We're like, our parents' age or their generation, they were like, yeah, that's age. That's how you get. Like you get old and this is how you're gonna be.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It was that kind of mindset. And I was like, okay, I guess it's my time now. I'm the oldest of four. So I'm like, okay, I'll start first. Um, and I just used to get like hold on to a chair to get up, or hold, like my husband had to like push me out of bed to get out of bed because I was in so much pain. Or just even like when you're laying on your bed and you want to switch from one side to the next, I was a struggle. Then, I say like 2 to 3 weeks into the patch, that was completely gone. Like I would automatically just get up from a chair without thinking. And the first time I remember was I was laying down, something happened, the kids were running something, and I immediately got up and then I just looked back. I'm like, did I just do that? And that's when I first realized it with no pain. I did try to get off it just to see. And like you say, Jay, like if you don't wear it, like a week of not wearing it, I felt it. I felt the pain coming back and my back or my legs were hurt, my knees were hurting. And then with the energy, it was that I would wake up tired, waking up tired, going to sleep tired. It was like the same ongoing cycle. And it was again the same thing. Oh, it's just, the older you are, this is how life is going to be. And you kind of believe it because you hear it all the time and it's everywhere.
Yep.
And it like where you like people would just say, oh yeah, it's age. So now like I do like the energy, I get up and I wake up feeling refreshed. Even if I don't have a good night's sleep, I still feel like I'm ready to take on the day. I have that energy and I am not dragging myself to bed at night because I feel great throughout the day. And it was like the most mundane things I would do, it would be like a drag to do them. Even if it was just making breakfast for the kids or doing homework with them, it felt like I was dragging myself through that throughout the day. With the patch, that all went away. So,
So, okay, let's do this, Raquel. I want you to put that in a story context with a prospect. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to remove pregnancy and I had pain. Okay, doesn't
okay,
connect with a lot of people. Okay, that's the reason they calls it. So when I hit, how old were you when you started having the back pain?
30, 30.
30. Okay,
Yeah.
so I started really feeling a lot of back pain when I was 30. Okay. And then, I couldn't get out of bed. It was hard. I was dealing with this pain constantly, and I was like, you know what, let me just give this thing a try. Why? I've tried everything else. So that's the way I want you to tell the story. And then, my energy level was like, I was asking the doctor was just telling me, hey, it's normal, you're aging, blah, 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 blah. So I want you to like talk about that in context of yourself, but in a story context in 60 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. So let's do it.
Do it
So you
now.
told me a story. You told everyone a story, right? But I want you to tell a prospect a story. So I want you to like when you're talking to somebody and you're saying, but I want you to hype it up. I want you to have conviction. I want you to have passion. And you know what? I think we're going to do this again next week. I want to work on this because I think this is really, really important part of what we're doing, and how we're presenting ourselves to somebody and talking about our story, right?
Okay.
So I want you to do that. And then I'm going to tweak it. And then I'm going to do the last few minutes just talking to you guys about the concept of 2626.
Okay. All right. So when I turned 30, that's when I first felt it. I started having lots of pain, different parts of my body, especially my
Okay,
back.
so Raquel, sorry. Let's start at the beginning about like why, like, so I want you to talk about how it's changed your life. Like, just listen, this device has changed my life more than anything. Let
I'll
me tell
start
you,
there first.
yeah, let me tell you why. At 30, I really started feeling a lot of pain in my back and it was debilitating. And I just was something that I felt like I was gonna have to deal with. Okay, so start there.
Okay. So this patch has completely changed my life. Ever since I started using it, everything, sorry, I
No,
got
no, and so that's perfect. The reason, so you got to tell people the why. The reason I started wearing it was
The
because it was a
reason.
last ditch effort to see if something would work to make my back feel better. And then the story of the back, I couldn't get out of bed, blah, blah, blah. So, right. So you always want to say, this patch has changed my life more than anything, or whatever you just said. Make it your own. You don't have to say what I say, right? Because it,
Okay.
it sounded like a lot of conviction that you said. The
Yeah.
reason why I'm wearing this patch, I mean, it's changed my life. And the reason I started is because I tried everything. And I didn't want to
Yeah.
go to narcotics. I didn't want to go to Oxycontin to dim the pain. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just give this thing a try. And then boom, that's the story. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay.
60
So,
seconds.
okay. So this patch has completely changed my life. The reason why I started wearing it is because I started feeling back pains and body aches when I was 30. I would go to the doctors. All they did was prescribe therapy or medication. And I didn't want to be on medication or taking painkillers every day. So after doing that and going to the doctor and everybody saying, well, that's because you're aging, I figured I'd give this patch a try. And it has completely changed everything since the moment I started wearing it. My pain is completely gone. I can get up from my bed. I can get up from my chair without having to hold on to something. And okay, did
And
I
so the
go?
next the next part is after 2 weeks or 2 months, however long it was, wearing
Okay.
this, my kids were doing something as kids do. I jumped up off the couch, which normally that would have never happened. I stopped in my tracks. I looked back and I was like, did I just do that? Oh my God. And then
Okay.
on top of that, and I'll help you. So we'll do it next week again, okay?
Yeah.
On top of that, I just started seeing my energy just be not that great. And I was like, oh, maybe it's because my kids, I'm not sleeping that good. And I was just making all these excuses for it. And not even thinking that the passion, I was just so happy that it removed my pain. And my energy is more than it's ever been in my entire life. Like, that's my favorite thing about this patch. And what
Oh, that's
happened,
good.
why it's increased my energy, is because my sleep got way better with this patch too. So, like, so many great things happen. And that's why I love this. And that's why I share this with every single person I come in contact with.
Oh, you
Right.
see?
So
Okay,
that's
that's
how I
what I
want you.
need. I need that.
So again, that's why I'm doing this. I want you guys to,
Yeah.
because that's the most powerful statement when you're talking to someone, is talking about that testimonial of you, but it's all has to be a structure, right? So the first part of it is, you hook them. This
Hmm.
has changed my life more than anything else. When someone says it's changed my life more than anything else, people are leaning in. They're like, okay, tell me more. And then you're like, then the reason I even gave this thing a chance, because it was a last ditch effort, because I tried everything else and nothing worked. And I put this on, and within 2 weeks, and put don't leave the bed. Like my husband would have to push me out of bed. Can you believe that? 30 years old, my husband was have to roll over in the middle of the night. It was excruciating. And then after 2 weeks wearing this patch, I'm sitting on the couch. My kids do something stupid. I jump up. I start to run after. I stop in my tracks, and I'm like, oh my God, did that just happen? I couldn't believe it. And then you know what? I was like, it's not that. So I stopped wearing it. Boom, pain came back. Right. So
Mm.
that's a convincing model. And then on top of that, I went to the doctor because I was like, I'm tired all the time. I mean, I'm 30. I shouldn't be tired all the time. And they were like, oh, it's just part of aging, And what happened is my energy. So that's the construct of the story where they're like, okay, well, how do I get that? And then that's where you're like, listen, it's super easy. It's one of three ways. You can buy it retail for 150 bucks a month, but nobody does that because like you can get it for $99 a month with an auto ship that you can cancel anytime. And listen, I'm telling you what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I believe in this device so much that I share this. They have an affiliate program. The company pays me for people that use this patch. Which one sounds best to you? And this is the key, you guys. Don't push anybody in any direction. This is what I'm going to talk about next.
Hmm.
Meet them where they are. If they say, I just want to use it as a customer, cool. Because if you get pushy, you push them over to being a brand partner, then you're going to push them away completely. But if they just want to use the device, cool. Make sure we have a system to follow up with those people to bring them into the business after they have a transformation like you and Norma and Michelle have had. And they're going to be like, yeah, absolutely. Why would I not share this? I share restaurants, I share stores, I share, things online all the time, and I don't get paid anything for it. Right. So ease them into it. But there are going to be a percentage of people that will. So let's talk about, before we run out of time, let's talk about the 2626. Okay. So there's 52 weeks in a year. Go ahead, Alexandra.
Okay, this is great. So great job, Raquel. Yeah, actually today I was no last night I had a meeting with my team. Now we are all 7 people, so I'm excited.
That's amazing.
Yes, so we were talking about to share that, and very natural. One of the girls that she lives in Mexico, she started talking about her testimony, and it was amazing because she said, "It's the last thing I want to try. I'm gonna try in 1 month." She had a great change before the doctor said you had to go to surgery. So she said no to the medicine and everything. I said, you had to share this. And I didn't ask her for the testimony. No, it was the first meeting. So I told them, I'm going to make a structure to see how we can, in 1 minute and 1 minute and a half, to share our testimony. So here we are. So it's great to have all these things because it's great things that we say. So my question, I'm very different to so many people that have so many pain, and but what happened with me is a more prevention, what you were saying from the beginning. And that's why sometimes I say, well, my testimony maybe is not something crazy. I'm waiting for one thing that is very important and it's changing, so I'm gonna wait for that. But yes, I had the same thing when I was talking with people and women at 30 years old, and they say that is normal to feel like that. And I was 37, and I say no, that's not normal. And but I didn't have anything to convince the people to that is not normal.
Yeah.
So my I think my way is not to treat so many people and talk about my, I don't have the experience to, I was in pain and I wasn't this and that. I am healthy. I am sleeping well. Now is the same as Raquel. I can sleep for sure, and that's the amazing thing. I can sleep for 5 hours and a half and I am great. Like I'm really good with energy and like that. And now that I have more purpose in that, it like I'm more happy, in the clear mind and other things. But it is amazing. So I think I want how I can get into the people that, it's for prevention. If you are working 9 to 5 with this lights all the time, no sun, no exercise, all these things, hey, we already have something that can help to prevent, and you don't have to go to retirement, but sick, you know,
Yeah.
all those
And
things. So that's my, how can
yeah,
I?
so Alexander, so Justin will just take a note. We're gonna do this again next week. I think this was very powerful. You guys agree? Like, was this a good training to go through and hear other people's testimonials? So Alexander, let's start with yours next week because I think it's very good because you're different, right? There's a lot of people like you, and so what I want to do is I want our testimonial to reach everyone, right? So like what you're saying, the prevention, all of that, like. We'll talk about that next week. I just want to give you guys this mental thing, and I'll go over it more next week. But this 2626, you guys, this business is hard. And the reason it's hard is because there's a lot of rejection. Okay. And what I mean by rejection is most people are not going to jump in the boat with you. Okay. There's a lot of things that are working against you. One, it's not something that people know anything about. Two, most people don't think about getting sick or preventing things until they're already there and then they wish they would have, right? That's just the society that we're in. But there are more people waking up to that. So mentally, the people that we bring in this business, like my wife told me she talked to you, Alexandra, and like you're really all bought in and things are not going exactly the way you want. No business ever does, right? I've never had a business that it goes exactly the way that I want to. But we are a society of immediate results. We have these phones in our hands with ChatGPT and Google, and we can find any answer and we can do anything at the click of our hands, right? If I see, I'm watching this show with my wife at night called Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. And I was like, how old is Sylvester Stallone? 79, right? Like I found that answer in seconds and I was just blown away. This guy looks amazing. He's 79 years old. Like, I mean, I remember Rocky. It didn't seem that long ago. Like this guy seemed like he was in his 30s. and he's already 79. So we have immediate results. In business, there is no such thing. Okay? No such thing. If you are super successful super fast, it goes away as fast as it comes. Okay? You could get lucky, but nothing is overnight. Now, in this type of business, you can have pretty good success in a year. In my insurance business, it took me 7 years to make money. Okay, I started when I was 27 years old. I spent $250,000 to open my agency. I had to hire employees with money I didn't have, so I was in debt like crazy. And I had to build the business. And once I built the business at the 7 year mark, I was breaking even. 8th year, I started making money. That's typical in business, okay? But not in this business. If you're disciplined and you do the right thing. So the 26-26 is this. If you just focus on talking to 10 people a week, 2 people a day, 5 days a week, 2 days a week, don't talk to anybody if you don't want to. If you want to talk to people 7 days a week, good, you're going to get more numbers, okay? But I want to do something that's realistic for every single human being on this planet. 2 people. That could be out and about when you meet someone. That could be 2 people you call on your phone every day that's in your 1,000 contacts, 500 contacts, 200 contacts, whatever it is. You're just reaching out to strike a conversation with them. But 2 people every day. You commit to that, you're going to get 1 person a week in your business. Okay? 1 person a week in your business. That's 52 people that will be in your business by the end of the year. Now, what we want to focus on as a group is we want to do the same thing with everybody. Everybody can get 1 person a week. If that's your focus, and what I want to do is I want you to celebrate that win. If we get one, you treat yourself to something. If it's, 2 hours to yourself without your kids and enjoying the beach, whatever, like have a reward for hitting that goal. And it's just one. And if we can get everyone to do that, if you can do that in a year, and you could do that with people in your team in a year, you'll have 3,000 people direct to you in your organization. That will pay you $8,000 to $10,000 a week. That'll pay you $40,000 a month with those numbers. Okay. If everybody is doing that, then we're bringing in, but we have to onboard them correctly and give them the right vision and understand there is going to be rejection. So what people focus on, if I talk to 10 and only one sign up, they focus on the 9 that said no. Oh, this doesn't work. No one likes it. I'm not building my business because what's the majority of what's happening in your life is no. So what we focus on is no. But what I want you guys to focus on is if we can get one every week, that's 52 people. Now, what's also going to happen from there is you're going to get customers. Customers are easy, right? So I'm saying 52, one brand partner a week. And what's probably going to happen is you're going to get one customer, maybe 2 customers a week that sign up. And so those 1 or 2 customers, the way I want you to see them as that when they sign up as a customer, is not like, oh, they didn't sign up for the business. They are a funnel. And that funnel is I'm going to follow up and I'm going to convert 50% of those people to become a brand partner. And I'm going to get them in. Now, it might be 6 months, it might be a year, it might be a year and a half. Okay. But if you guys can get 52 people in your business in a year, which is only 1 person every week, I promise you, you'll build an organization that is better than any organization that's out there. Because the 1 person you're going to get is going to be quality. It's not just like trying to pump people in the business. Let me get 2 or 3 people this week. Now, a year feels like a long time, right? But I started this call talking about Christmas for a reason. Because I knew I was talking about this at the end. Christmas was here, it seemed like yesterday. And we're already at Christmas again. So that year will happen very, very fast. But the discipline of talking to 10 people, 2 a day. I'm not asking you to go out. A lot of people say 5 a day, 6 a day. I don't think that's realistic. That's just me. 5 people is a lot, and you can't consistently do that because life gets in the way. But 2 a day, that's 30-minute commitment max. Max. Now, if you go to the gym, if you do anything outside, if you got a patch on, make sure people see it. It's going to open up a conversation. Like right now, the only patches that I see on this call right now is Raquel's. Where's Raquel's? It's on her hand, right? So if you can wear a patch somewhere where people can see it, there's a girl that had varicose veins. She was on his call, and she all of her she wouldn't wear shorts because she was embarrassed of her varicose veins. Now she wears shorts. I told my wife that story. You know where my wife wears hers? She wears it right on her leg every day. People are out, they see it. So that's what I want you guys to think about. Be intentional. If you have a couple patches on somewhere and you're out somewhere, take your shoe off. If you got a high heel on, I know it's not beautiful, girls, but wear some patches on your feet. They'd be like, what is that? Right? And so have that conversation, start that conversation. So I just want you guys thinking one a week, because also the mind is a very tricky thing. If we get rejected too much and we concentrate on the 10 saying, 9 saying no versus the 1 saying yes, then we start to play tricks on our mind saying this doesn't work. The reason I also wanted to start with this is because the testimonials tonight are very powerful. No one on here is being paid to tell you a testimonial. Am I right? Did you guys know we were doing testimonials tonight? You didn't know on purpose, because testimonials, when they're asked in the moment, are very true and real versus, hey, we're doing testimonial call tonight and people are thinking about how I can tell my best testimonial. I also wanted to do it different with helping you with your testimonial, because what I figured out with my testimonial is that nobody cares that I wake up in the middle of the night to go pee, but they do care what they're dealing with. And if I can help them deal with that. Now, listen, Norma, you getting your hair back? You know the percentage of men that's going bald? So I'm not gonna say, going like I'm gonna use that when I'm talking to a man. I'm gonna show him a picture of me going bald. This is what it did to my hair. And he's gonna be like, what? Are you serious? Where'd you wear it? On your head? No, 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 I just wore it on my back. And it started to grow my hair back. Now, men are different than women. Yours was more medical than men having a gene that's making them lose their hair, right? It's different. Now, I will tell you, my hair is thicker, my skin is better. Is it going to replace all of your hair? But I'm going to use it in a conversation with people and say, listen, this is what it did to my hair. I'm not going to guarantee you it's going to grow your hair back, but this is what it did to my hair. Right. So that gives you another avenue when you're talking to men. Now, what I do show people is my hair was gray. A year and 2 months ago, I had salt and pepper. My hair is now black. I don't dye my hair because you would be able to tell, because you can see on the sides it's gray a little bit, right? So when I talk to people, I'm like, listen, my hair used to, I'll take my hat off, or I was on the golf course and this guy was full gray. And I was like, I was salt and pepper. I was going gray. My beard is gray, but the top of my hair, I don't dye it. You could, if I dyed it, you'd be able to tell, so I'll use those types of things. So just think about the 26, you guys, starting today. That next December 1st, the goal is 52 people. And just do a check. I'm going to create a thing where you can just check off. I got my 1. What's the celebration? I got my 1. Now, you got to pay attention to one thing. Are you talking to 10 people a week? Right? If you're not getting your 1, you're not, because the numbers are 10%. Now, listen, you might not get that 1 this week, but if you stay consistent with those 10, you're going to get 2 this week. If I get 2 this week, I got 1 last week and 1 this week, so I got my 2. And then what we have to do is make sure that we're having the same conversation with them. Listen, the goal to this business is 1 person a week. Because if you overwhelm people, and this is something we've got to teach as a culture, you're going to get way more no's than yeses. So when you come into this, I want you to be prepared. But 52 people in a year will take you, and you get those 52 to get half of that. Let's say they get 24. Your income is going to be $8,000 to $10,000 a week. That's the numbers that's going to get you there, as long as you're helping other people do that. Now, if you get 52 people and they don't do anything, you're not getting to $8,000 to $10,000 a week. But this business, you guys, is all about helping other people. It's not just about you. If you are willing to help other people, and we build this beautiful culture, this beautiful network, and everyone's on the same page, thinking the same way, that 8,000 to 10,000 a week will easily double, will easily triple if we keep doing this system. Because the way this comp plan works, the reason I'm doing this is because it pays 6 generations. So going down in your organization and helping everybody get the 52 number in a year, we're all going to be multimillionaires. I promise you. I've ran the numbers. I've been working on this for a long time, and I'm like, what is the magic number in our business? and it's one person a week. That's it. One person a week. It's not a big number. No one's doing that in this industry, you guys, because no one's consistent. And most people fail in the first 90 days because they're like, oh, it doesn't work. Someone says, oh, you're crazy for doing that. Oh, then they're convinced it doesn't work. This device works, this company works, this plan works, and the type of people that we're going to help more than anything in the world. If you lead with helping people, your business is going to take care of itself. Now we just got to tweak the testimonial, we got to tweak the conversation, and we got to talk to the right people. We got to be consistent. And listen, I don't care if you got a full-time job. Raquel works full-time. She's an accountant. But she could find two people she could talk to every day. It could be on the way driving to work. It could be on the way driving to work. I mean, it could be when you're going to the bathroom. No one knows you're going to the bathroom. It could be during that moment. I know that's a private moment, but you could find two people you could talk to in a day. Listen, this is how I do it, you guys. I play the scrolling game. I showed you guys this last week. I go on my phone, I go to my contacts, and I just go to halfway through, and then I play the scrolling game. I just go like this and I stop. Maria Camila, I have no idea who that person is. I will call that person and I'll say, "Hey Maria," I'm like, "Oh, this is not Maria Stewart, is it?" "Oh, Maria. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I called the wrong Maria. How are you doing?" And now I'm in a conversation with Maria. "What are you up to? Where are you working?" And now I'm making the conversation all about her or him or whoever it is that I'm talking to. Just like what I've taught you guys. And then they're going to say, "Well, what are you up to? What are you doing?" "Oh, girl, man, I'm in the stem cell business, man. It is changing people's lives. Stem cell business, what does that look like?" And then I just get into my talk path, right? So that conversation might not go anywhere, or that conversation might become interest. For me, those 10 guys on the paddle court, I did 10 in one day. 10 in one day. Only because I took my shoe off and I started talking about how it's helped me at paddle, how my foot doesn't hurt, like how I feel younger than I've ever felt in my entire life. And everyone there was like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, "52." They're like, "Shut up. You're not 52." I'm like, "I'm 52." I had to give my license. You don't move like you're 52 on the paddle court. Telling you, dude, this is why. I couldn't play golf before. It hurt my back. So those are the conversations I want to help you guys. So next week, I want you to do, and I want you to bring how you're talking about your testimonial now. Okay? If you tweak it this week because of this call, cool. But I want to help you tweak that testimonial. And Alexandra, I'm going to start with you because you got a really good one, right? Because that's what we need to be focused on. If we're going to bring a younger audience into this, which is going to help a lot of people. And I'm not saying don't help sick people. I'm not saying don't help people that are in need. That's one lane. But we have multiple lanes that we can go down. And that's how you build a stable, sustainable, duplicatable business is by helping many people in many avenues. And you're helping people that are 25, you're helping people that are 35. I mean, someone that's 25 years old, they want to make money. They're at that point where they're out of adolescence and they're like, "Okay, I want to make money." So the conversation to them is a lot more attractive. You mean I can share this on social media and I can get paid? Absolutely. You can make 40% on social media because we pay up to 40% commissions, right? So you speak those people's languages. So I'm sorry, Maria, I went over my time. Thank you so much for being so awesome. You guys, thank you for being so awesome. Next week, we're going to do the same thing. Invite your team because it's going to be good for them to hear this, you guys. It's going to be good for them to hear how they can talk about their testimonial, but it's also good to hear from other people like Michelle, like Raquel, like Norma, that what it's done for them because it also creates this belief in you where you're like, "Shit, this thing really does work." But also, I want to help you guys deliver that. Okay. I hope this was helpful for you guys this week, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great night.